What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory, and today I'm coming at you guys with a Paleozoic Chain Burn deck, or Paleo Burn as I like to call them. This deck is really good. Right now I have it just in like the testing phase, so some of these card choices might not exactly be the best card choices I could put in here, but they work pretty good so far. My extra deck definitely isn't as good as it could be, because I could have a Totally Awesome in there, and I bet a bunch of other cool stuff, but I don't have a Totally Awesome, so I just do with what I got so far. I have gone out of my way to get a lot of cards for this deck because they've mostly been pretty cheap, except for the extra deck, and maybe like a few main deck cards can be like $2 or $3, but that's not really that expensive. So I'm sure anybody, even on a budget, can make this deck. It's really simple. All the Paleozoic cards are extremely cheap, even though Paleozoics are coming into being better right now, and they're really good right now to use. So let's get right into the deck profile. This deck has very little monsters. It's all well, not all, but it's mostly traps and like very little spells as well. First with the monsters, you run just 2 Majesty's Fiend, that's it. You could run a Card D, but I personally don't like Card D that much just because it ends the turn and I don't like doing that. You could also run a Ghost Ogre, which I see no reason in not running a Ghost Ogre. I don't know. You can run it if you want. I'd rather just, I don't know. I already have a lot of negating anyway, so it's not like it really matters. That's it with the monsters. Now the spells. Run 2 Chain Strike. That's it with spells. Well, if you didn't know, well, I guess since I'm not that far ahead, I can go back. Majesty's Fiend. All monsters' effects are negated. And that works good with Paleozoics because they are not affected by monsters. Chain Strike. What it does is you activate it as a chain link 2 or higher, and your opponent takes damage to the life points equal to 700 times whatever chain link it's activated at. Or I think it's how many links are in the chain. So you can activate this as a chain link 2, and then your opponent chains something, and then you chain something, and then they take a lot of damage for that. That's it for spells. Like, I only run 2 spells. You can run MSTs and stuff like that since they're quick plays. Just any quick plays are good, except for enemy controller. I tried using that, it sucks. Now for traps, 3 Paleozoic Dynamiscus. By the way, I'm going to butcher these names regardless, so I'm just going to do the best I can. Please don't hate me. These names are really hard to pronounce. But anyway, what Dynamiscus does is you target a face-up card on the field, and you discard 1 card from your hand, and then you banish it. And whenever this is in the graveyard, if you activate a trap card, you can special summon this from your graveyard, and whenever it leaves the field after being special summoned like that, it gets banished. The secondary effect is what all Paleozoics have, so I'm just not going to explain that on each card, just the first effect. Next, you run 3 Paleozoic Pikaia. What he does, he's basically like a trade-in for Paleozoics. You discard a Paleozoic card, and then you draw 2 cards. Next, you run 3 Olinoidus. What Olinoidus does is, it's basically like MST. You just target a spell or trap card and you destroy it. That's basically it. Then you run 3 Paleozoic Canadia. What this card does is, it's like a Book of Moon. So since Book of Moon is limited, you could run 3 of these in any deck you feel like it, and it'd work perfectly fine. Since Book of Moon is a quick play regardless, so this could be the new Book of Moon, guys. So you just target a monster and flip it face down. Next you run 3 Magical Cylinder just for the extra little burn power. I'm sure everyone knows what Magic Cylinder does. I'm just going to tell you anyway. Whenever a monster attacks, you negate the attack, and then your opponent takes damage equal to the monster's attack. It does target, by the way. Older copies, such as I think this one, doesn't say it targets, but the new one, which is this one, does say that it targets. So just remember that Magic Cylinder does target. Same thing with a Negate Attack. Negate Attack also targets, by the way, 3 copies of Negate Attack. I like this better than, say, Mirror Force or something like that, or something else that negates attacks, just because this is a quick play, which is a spell speed of 3. So things like Cyber Dragon Infinity, things like, what else negates stuff? Doesn't Totally Awesome negate stuff? I think so. I don't have one, so I don't really know, but yeah, so if it gets, they can't negate this unless it's another counter, such as Seven Tools of the Bandit or Dark Bribe or something like that. Next, you run 2 Paleozoic Marilia. It's like a Foolish Burial for Paleozoics. You just target a trap card and send it to your graveyard. This could be good for, say, just speaking out loud, just for a different deck. You could use this card in Predaplants and get your trap card in the graveyard and then fusion with that. But that's just an idea that I just thought of like 10 minutes ago. But yeah, it's basically just a Foolish Burial, and you send traps and it has the same secondary effect. Next, you run 2 Paleozoic Hallucinogen. Yep. You target a face-up monster on the field. Its attack and defense become half. Then you run... Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. Then you run 2 Paleozoic Lanchilia. I most of the time use it like as a ditch. Like I ditch it with that card. I ditch that and this. And I just ditch both of those usually. But sometimes I use their effects. Sometimes their effects come in clutch, but not too much. But what this does is you just target one of your banished cards and then add it back to your graveyard. So it can be good, but in most situations I just ditch it. Next you run 2 Gravity Bond because they're all level 2s. So Gravity Bond doesn't affect them and it just stops your opponent's big monsters from attacking. Especially if you draw 2 of these and you activate both of them, they have to MST both of them. And then they have to worry about a negate attack or a magic cylinder. So it's really hard to get a hit in on this deck. You run 2 Just Desserts. Your opponent takes 200 damage for every monster they control. Also, to accompany the Just Desserts, you run 2 Ojama Trio. I currently only have 1 Ojama Trio, but I strongly suggest you run 2 just because this card is semi-limited. If it was unlimited, I'd probably run 3 just because it's such a field clog. But what you do is you summon 3 tokens on your opponent's side of the field, and they can't be tributed, so things like this really screws up like Monarchs because they can't tribute the tokens, so there's not very many ways they could get rid of the tokens regardless. Also, if they do get them off the field, your opponent takes 300 damage to the life points for each. Then you run 2 Imperial Iron Wall. Cards can't be banished, or neither player can banish cards. Really good in this deck because their secondary effect is that after they leave the field after being special summoned, they get banished, and with this they just go to your graveyard, so it's super cool. Now just with the one-ofs, you run 1 Torrential, 1 Fiendish Chain, 1 Breakthrough Scale, and 1 Induced Explosion. Induced Explosion is really good. What it does is whenever one of your cards is destroyed by spell or trap card, you can activate this, you destroy one of your opponent's cards, and then you can also activate it in the graveyard to do the same thing, just not that turn. That's it with the main deck. Now for the extra deck. First you run 2 Paleozoic Anomaliacaris. I literally got this card yesterday, and I haven't done much playtesting with this card. But what it does is it's unaffected by monster effects, which is really good. And then once per turn, if a trap card leaves the field, you excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a trap card, add it to your hand. If it's anything else, you send it to the graveyard, which this is how many trap cards I run. This stack right here. And I literally run 4 cards that aren't spell and trap cards. So it is a very high likelihood it's going to be a spell and trap card, so it's just a free draw. Its secondary effect is, during either player's turn, if it has a trap card as a material, you detach it, and then you destroy a card that your opponent controls. I think it just says in general, doesn't it? Yeah, it just says destroy 1 card on the field. So that's really good, because you can get rid of, it's like an MST and a whatever destroys monsters randomly. I don't know. I'm not very good with card names, remembering them. But regardless, it's a really good card. Either way, it also has 2400 attack, which is pretty strong. Next, you run 2 Paleozoic Opabina. This card is really good too because it's unaffected by card effects, and you can also play Paleozoic cards directly from your hand, which is really good. So, say like all of them are traps, and you have to set a trap then flip it. This, you just draw it. You can activate it right when you draw it, and I'm pretty sure you can activate it from your hand during your opponent's turn as well. I'm not entirely sure about that. Since it is a trap card, it can be activated during either player's turn. I'd actually have to look up a card ruling on that. I think that's how it works though. And then a secondary effect, you can detach a material, then search out a Paleozoic card, which is really good. It builds your hand super quickly, especially if you search out that one that's like what is it? It's like I'm trying to think. That's like a trade-in. So you just search it out, and then dump a Paleozoic, then draw 2 more cards, and then you already get the special summon off of that. It just makes the deck incredibly fast. This plus that one, it just makes the deck incredibly fast. And then I just have a Herald of Pure Light just to get back these, just in case they go to the graveyard, since I do only have 2. It works really good in getting them back, and I really like how it plays. But yeah, that's it for my Paleozoic deck. Thanks guys for watching my deck profile. I really appreciate it. I know we've been kind of slow on content lately. We've just been having a lot going on, guys. We've been going to a good bit of tournaments lately, and we haven't really been getting a whole lot of new decks like within our group. Like us making decks takes literally forever, and this is just the newest deck I've gotten done. I should be getting done with Predator Plants soon, so there'll be a deck profile of those on the channel, and then I'll have to come out with a Predator Plant Invoker build, because like my main goal is to make the Invoker build, but I have to save up and get an invocation, and they're like $40, or hope to pull one out of the pack, which that would be great. I have all the cards I need besides the invocation, so I'm just waiting on that. And I also have some Predator Plant cards that I'm waiting on to come in the mail. But besides that, the deck's pretty much almost done. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. And we're going to really try to come up with new content to bring it to the channel. Just comment down below what you guys want to see. We'll do our best to make it happen if we can. Also, we might be doing some more like live duels and stuff like that, and card openings and stuff. We don't really have many pack openings just because that's not really our main focus for our channel. We mostly do deck profiles and a little bit of live dueling, which I think we really should do a little bit more of the other stuff too, just because other people do want to see other content that's different in just what they're looking for to see. So, but anyway, guys, you guys who subscribed, I think we're at 80 subscribers now, which is really surprising. We jumped really bad from like 50 to like 60 or 70 or so, and then we've just been rising from there. And guys, for real, thanks a lot. We couldn't be at 80 subscribers without any of you. Really appreciate you watching our content. I hope you think our content's good. But yeah, that's it for my deck profile. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.